Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 13 of Ace Attorney Investigations. Last time, we came to the conclusion that Cammy Meal is the most likely suspect for murdering Acme Hicks, and we are basically cross-examining her. Anyways, let's get a move on. Sleeping. Oh yeah, I guess so. I stayed abroad in Borginean for a while. If that is the case, then the signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? Welcome to the pursuit zone. You're in the Thunderdome now. You are doomed, and you are going to jail. This is a falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose: to lead anyone who read it to believe that Mr. LeBlanc's statue was loaded in Europe. The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Borginean is you, Miss Meal. Without your participation, the smuggling of the leaf red statue could not have occurred. Don't sleep while I'm pointing my finger at you and playing my epic pursuit music. That's just rude. Oh, I wouldn't dream of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. It's exactly as you say. Are you confessing to having participated in the smuggling? No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on that document. But you can't use that fact alone to make your allegations of smuggling stick. There is no direct correlation after all. All you have is my signature on a piece of paper. Really? All you did was sign it? I neglected to check if the cargo had been loaded onto the plane properly. So, sorry about that. It seems like she's finally woken up. This is going to be one tough fight. Suppose, and this is just a supposition. Even if I was involved in the smuggling, you can't throw the charge of murder on me just like that. Objection! If you were involved in the smuggling, you would have had a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding a smuggling ring, and just when he was about to close in, he's killed by a member of that ring. Well, did you ever stop to think that maybe Rhoda is the smuggling ring member? After all, unlike me, Rhoda has access to many things on this plane for work purposes. So perhaps there's some element of a setup at play in this case. What are you talking about? Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you. I meant the killer. First it was myself, and now Mr. Nero who's under the microscope. Seems to me that our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can. Oh, and I'm starting to get hate by my left eye. Ugh. Darn sinuses. You have no proof that Rhoda is being set up, or that she isn't. Actually, I believe that she was indeed the intended target from the very beginning. I believe that the plan was to push all the blame for the crime onto her, and this evidence will prove my suspicions. This proves that the killer was out to frame Mr. Nero from the very beginning. The suitcase. The killer could have hidden the body anywhere, and yet they chose this ugly suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body from the lower deck to the upper floor. However, why go through the trouble to do so? The only way all of these actions make sense is if the killer had wanted to frame Mr. Nero for the murder. Mr. Nero buys a suitcase on every single flight she works without fail. But should her suitcase be switched with the one containing the victim's body, that would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There was enough time to put the boy back into the suitcase. Ergo, they made do with whoever was at hand, adapted their plan, and tried to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the turbulence. But that is where they made the first mistake. Because no one frames me and gets away with it, for I am Miles Edgeworth, god of this realm, ruler of logic. The killer then went to hide the suitcase in the in-flight shop, and brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a false weapon. A lot of work for a fruitless endeavor, wouldn't you agree? Sounds like the killer had a tough time too, huh? I mean, why did the killer need to frame someone that badly anyways? That is because of the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. What special circumstances dictate the need for the killer to frame someone? I want to just do this. I just want to see what this is. The killer was at a loss of what to do with Agent Hick's body, but as it just so happens, there was a bunch of empty suitcases nearby. Being a skinny man, the killer thought to put his body in the suitcase and hand it off. You saying that the whole plan to frame someone was an elaborate coincidence? No, that's not what I said! You wrongly deduced my meaning, Miss Meal. The only one with the wrong deduction is you. Think before you speak again. Ah! Patience, Francisca! I was about to reveal the truth! Okay. Okay. The magic place before the movie was scheduled to go on. I'm loving this. I'm sorry, I just have to test these out on this. Around that time, almost all the passengers had returned to their seats. Therefore, the killer had to choose someone who was not at their seat to frame. Isn't that an explanation for how the killer chose who, and not why they had to? Well, I thought it best to start from there. If you're gonna talk about completely unrelated matters, do you think I'd mind if I take a nap? Hold on! I'm just getting to the meat of my argument! Where the murder took place. The special circumstance is simply that the murder took place on the plane mid-flight. No matter which country, customs is quite strict in this day and age. So no matter what you do, the chances that the boy we found is very high. Therefore, there was no choice but to frame either Mr. Nero or myself. In other words, the only one who fits the boundaries of this criminal's motives is not Mr. Nero nor myself, but you, Miss Cammy Meal. Only you and you alone could be the killer. And sorry about that. I just had a real yawn there. Are you done already? I was about to fall asleep again. Anyways, let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me either. CzarThwomp, what the hell? What the hell? I act groggy most of the time, and yet you're somehow flipping up my lines worse than some moogies. You don't have anything on me other than a whole lot of circumstantial evidence. I can see the outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definitive evidence. And isn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Something that I still can't quite fit into the big picture. Take that! I don't have any actual evidence. I thought not. But that's because it went missing and still is. Missing? What do you mean by that? In the complex puzzle that is this case, there was one piece I kept getting stuck on, and that is the victim's cell phone. Francisca, you were waiting at the airport for a phone call from Agent Hicks' cell phone. Or at least that's what you told me. That's right! But Agent Hicks' cell phone could not be found at this crime scene. You mean the killer took the phone with them? Precisely. I suspect that if we were to find that phone, it would lead us to the killer. Come on, get serious. If the victim fell to his death from that height, wouldn't his phone break as well? We won't know until we try a little experiment, will we? Francisca, I'd like to ask you for your assistance. You know the victim's phone number, do you not? Of course I do! Oh my gosh, Francisca has a more high-tech cell phone than Phoenix. Agent Hicks' phone! It's ringing from somewhere, sorry! I hear it, Detective. Now, where is it coming from? Miss Meal, wake up! Sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. I sleep all the time because it sounds like a lullaby I used to love as a child. I better find that cell phone fast! Mr. Edgeworth. Don't worry, Mr. Nero. I will get to the bottom of this and find the truth. So please wait here until I return. Alright. Thank you for all you're doing, Mr. Edgeworth. It sounds like it's coming from the flight attendant's room. I agree. Please don't hang up just yet. Let me find it first. That's fine, but let's just get one thing straight. Yes? Don't you dare answer his phone when you find it. Understand? I understand that you don't want to pay for the call. Man! Cheap Francisca is cheap. And then Edgeworth answered in the end. Hello, Francis. Damn it, Miles Edgeworth! Now I'm going to have to pay for it! The ringing's coming from somewhere here, sorry! Leave no stone unturned, Detective Gumshoe. We must find it. The ringing's coming from in here. The ringing's coming from in here, sorry! Gumshoe, why were you sounding like me for that? I don't know. I'm ascending to your level, Miss Edgeworth. I'm worshipping you. What? No, it can't be. Sorry, I have to cough. This has got to be the victim's cell phone. Just whose log is this, sir? It's Miss Tenero's. What? Okay, lower deck, cargo hold.
So, Mr. Edgeworth, how did you go? Where did you find the phone?
I found it in the flight attendant's room, in Mr. Nero's locker.
What? But...
Rhoda to Nero!
I don't know anything about this phone. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Miss Von Karma, is it? I suggest you arrest Mr. Wright Nero right away.
Wait, I have a theory! This is related to the incident with the keycard. When the killer went to steal the keycard, they conveniently stashed the salvo in Mr. Nero's locker at the same time. This is related to the keycard, alright? In the same way that we have zero proof that the killer did just that. The only voice that sings the truth is evidence. That is the one bird we cannot ignore. Unless, of course, you are Von Karma, in which case we ignore it when it does not convenience us, which I do. Francis is right. I can't offer baseless conjectures at this point. I'm not that guy. Alright then, why did the culprit take the cell phone from Agent Hicks? It must have something very incriminating on or in it.
Hold it!
What now, Miles Edgeworth? It's not over yet. We have yet to figure out why the killer took the phone. What? Inside this phone lies the final piece of incriminating evidence that will point us to the killer. We need to examine this phone in more detail. It's red. The LCD is broken. Without a screen, you can't even place a call with this. Turn it over. Camera. Ah, it's a camera lens. Come to think of it, I wonder, how exactly was Agent Hicks planning to preserve the crime scene of a smuggling? Francisca, I need you to confirm something. This cell phone, can it take pictures?
Mr. Edgeworth, I can't believe you don't know about this kind of basic stuff, sorry.
This looks like a very similar model to my own, except mine is better in every way, shape, and form. And mine can take photos just fine. And mine is a bluish silver, Miles Edgeworth, which makes it 1,000 times better. Do you think Agent Hicks could have taken some pictures with this? In particular, pictures as evidence for a smuggling case. If so, I say that there may be some inconvenient photos in here of our killer smuggler.
But the phone's not buzzed up, sorry.
Even a super prosecutor can't repair a broken phone.
Don't you underestimate Mr. Edgeworth. He'll use his powers of logic to repair the phone.
Yeah, and then Edge replaces the phone. Just watch me, Miss Meal. And then Edgeworth, he starts waving his hands around. They start glowing maroon. And then the phone starts glowing maroon. And then the screen starts fixing itself. I can spend time! Except back to the point where my daddy was killed. I'll find a way. Don't you worry about that. Sorry about that. It's just when I tried to do a fake yawn, I end up doing a really long real yawn.
May I go back to sleep now?
The LCD screens on the inside and outside are broken, that's for sure. But that's also reason enough to believe that the killer wasn't able to erase the data.
What?
What do you mean by that, Francisco? It looks like our killer isn't very familiar with electronics. This phone still rang when I called it, meaning that only the LCD screens are broken. This killer can only be one person, Miles Edgeworth. That guy! You can say his name, Francisco. I will not risk him appearing and stealing my spotlight, Miles Edgeworth. It's possible that the photos are still inside, waiting to be accessed. All we need to do is transfer the data to my phone. Francisca, your phone, if you please! Very well. Do not touch my photos, Miles Edgeworth. It's transferring. Alright, displaying it now. This is... Agent Hicks was most certainly trying to obtain some evidence from the first smuggling case.
Hey, the elite Red's nowhere in this big site.
But this has no meaning as a piece of evidence in this murder case, right?
Oh, she's right. There's not much we can find out from this about Agent Hicks' killer, sorry.
Is this it? Is this the end? Is there really nothing in this photo that we can use? Okay, I believe, yeah. What's all this?
It is all of my adult magazines! They were stolen! Oh my god, where are my adult magazines to pleasure myself? With Borginean women! Oh, they're cargo shipped from Borginean to Zhangfa.
So the reason they aren't here now is that they were dropped off in Zhangfa. Mr. LeBlanc, can you tell me the contents of the boxes? Unfortunately, there is no English written on them anywhere.
One glass of box is written in Borginean. This says no goes there, which is cloth in English.
Cloth, could it be? Is this where the killer...
What is with the scary face?
Miss Meal.
Yes.
It appears that Agent Hicks was no ordinary investigator. He left us with a piece of evidence after all. A striking piece that will no doubt point out who his killer is.
Huh. Maybe you should forward your mistaken reading of a simple picture, Mr. Edgeworth.
The Borginean cargo and this piece of evidence will point straight to the killer.
Take that!
And what is that supposed to prove?
The killer used this piece of cloth to wipe up the blood they had spilled. But there was one thing that bothered me this whole time. Where did it come from? And now I have finally found my answer in this very photo. The cargo that was unloaded in Zhangfa had cloth written on it. In Borginean, that is. And this is where the killer grabbed a piece from to clean up the blood with. That's right, the killer was someone who could read and understand Borginean. And the only crew member that fits that description is you, Miss Cammy Meal.
Ha! That's pretty flimsy. The killer probably searched through all the boxes looking for something to use. When you're frantic, you don't care if the box is in English or Borginean.
Sorry, but I could not agree with your assessment of this killer's indiscriminate nature.
What?
There was no need for the killer to tear through boxes at random at all. And if the killer supposedly could not comprehend Borginean, well then... logically, the killer would have opened this box first.
Take that!
Bed sheets.
Hey, it says bed sheets in English round the box, oi!
Precisely, and bed sheets would be perfect for cleaning up blood, wouldn't you say?
So what are you trying to say?
That if I were a criminal, this box of bed sheets would have been what I would have spotted first.
However, the killer chose to use some Borginean cloth. Do you have an explanation for that?
The killer didn't want anyone to know that the real scene of the crime was this cargo hold, so they were afraid to leave signs that the box for the sheets had been opened. However, the Borginean cloth, well, that's a horse of a different color.
Because the killer knew that it was going to be in the Republic of Zhangfa.
That's right. That is why the Borginean cloth was used. And the only Borginean reader on board who could make such a calculated decision is you, Cammy Meal. You and you alone. It would be very easier for us to confirm if any of these boxes were resealed. All we would have to do is contact the Zhangfa authorities in time. We may even find other evidence to incriminate our killer within those boxes. So what do you say, Miss Meal? Why not confess your crime here and now? Or would you rather wait and see what we find out from our investigation in Zhangfa?
Ooh, no!
Edgeworth used Bubble Beam. It was super effective.
He was in trouble. I couldn't stop it. I brought him here. He started taking pictures. Snap, snap, snap. I couldn't be found out. I was scared. I was in trouble.
And meanwhile, he was like, and this, kids, is what? And I thought my Mondays were usually bad. I thought last Monday was bad. Okay, that joke is bad. And Cammy just thought pushed him off of the railing. Just over the railing, thought push. March 12th, 5:26 p.m. First floor lounge.
We finished making all the arrangements to take the suspect inside.
Very good, detective. What about the smuggling route? Did she say anything about that?
That's on. They're taking her down to the precinct now. Hopefully we can get more of her there. Whenever we even approached the topic, she just started foaming at the mouth. It was scary, sight.
She probably wasn't prepared to commit a murder all of a sudden. One thing is for sure, the ring behind this whole mess means serious business. It looks like there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye.
Mr. Edgeworth, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everything you did. Thank you very much.
It was nothing. In fact, I should be the one thanking you for your cooperation. I mean, it was the least you could do after you handcuffed me!
But truly, if it wasn't for you, I might not be here right now. Instead, I can continue to serve our passengers as a flight attendant. I hope that, well, please accept this as a token of my appreciation.
What did I ever do to you? What did I do to you? Why did I do to have this punishment? That's...
I see. You don't have to take it if you don't want it.
No, I mean, I would never turn down a lady's generous offer. Like I said, the Edgeworth, the Rhoda X Edgeworth ship, it's real, and I ship it.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure it will serve you well. And remember, we here at iFly Airlines are always ready to serve Mr. Edgeworth.
Thank you, I'll keep that in mind.
Now, I must bid you farewell. May all your skies be blue no matter where you go.
I can't believe we wound up investigating the whole day, Soy, but boy, it was fun! And my pay wasn't cut for once!
Oh, Gumshoe. That's because I haven't gotten back to the station about the paperwork just yet. Speak for yourself, my day was filled with earthquakes, enemies, and false charges, and reminders of my daddy issues. By the way, where's Francisca?
Oh, she's filling out some customs paperwork for her departure.
Departure?
Yeah, Miss Volcano was always really busy, Soy. She's been flying from country to country to chase down some leads regarding her case.
Detective? Can you cancel the car I had you reserve earlier?
You got it, Soy!
Okay. Francisca?
I thought I told you when you first landed, I have no time for idle chatter.
I have no intention of wasting your time. However, it has been a while since we last met.
I also have no time for such familiar reminiscence. Just who do you think I am?
My adoptive sister? You are Francisca von Karma, a very proud prosecutor deserving of much respect.
Until only a little while ago, I was but a wretched mutt who was always losing to you.
And you still are Francisca. Except now you do so on an international scale.
A dancing Perot living her life on the name and fame of her invincible father built.
Francisca, don't say that. Your father wasn't invincible. He had a penalty. And then he lost to that guy. True, your father, Manfred von Karma, didn't lose a single case for 40 years as a prosecutor. However, I wouldn't say he was invincible. I mean, look at that penalty. He killed the guy over a penalty. He killed my daddy over a penalty.
What are you talking about?
DL6, Francisca, DL6.
The group I'm on the trail of is a little more troublesome than most. The smuggling route we found this time is only one sliver of the big picture.
Sounds like a dangerous assignment.
You really don't have to worry. I can take care of myself.
Yes, I suppose you can. But what if you go down to the cargo hold of a plane, Francisca?
Plus, there is another agent on this case with me.
Oh, another agent?
He's a star among Interpol agents and has the highest successful arrest rate. Who knows, you may even run into him one day, or even the next case.
I was simply caught up in this one case. I can't really see why we would cross paths.
I suppose, but I doubt he would say the same.
I'm not following you.
You'll understand soon enough. The fight has only just begun, Miles Edgeworth. I'll be back in this country soon enough. And when I am, you can be sure I'll pay you back in full.
No whip goodbye.
And just like that, she's gone, huh, sir? Thank goodness! I can only was easy though I wanted to watch out for her whip. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Who's witch? Oh, witch, the wicked witch. Who? The wicked witch is dead. She won't be whipping me anymore, and I will feel my lips because I won't be bleeding on the ground today.
Detective Gumshoe, I want to thank you for all your help and cooperation.
Oh, it was nothing, Sully. I was just happy to be able to work with you again. I think I'm going to celebrate by adding a little extra salt to my instant noodles tonight.
Gumshoe, why is it that you manage to somehow reach a new level of sad with each bit of dialogue? Literally, every
Every time you think, oh, Gumshoe can't get sadder, Gumshoe can't get sadder, he gets sadder! Just how much did you cut his salary by, Francisca? You're the main guy cutting his salary, Edgeworth. You're the one starting the trend. Detective, I was wondering if you might give me a ride down to the prosecutor's office. And yet, somehow, Edgeworth is like, oh, maybe I should raise Gumshoe's salary. No, Gumshoe's salary is going to be lower than no. It will be lower than the dirt in the ground. There will be dirt, bedrock, Gumshoe salary. Not descending order.
Sure thing, sorry. Oh, you're flying on the road in the patrol car if you want.
Don't make me remind you, Detective. Safety first. Thus, I solved the first case upon my arrival home. Francisco Ankama, the smuggler route she was after. The leaders of that ring had already put their trump card into play. And the players on the other side of this war, they would begin to make themselves known through the next incident. Huh? Edgeworth speaking.
Ah, finally. I called who knows how many times earlier, but I couldn't get through.
And you are?
Ah, have you forgotten my voice, Miles, my boy?
Mr. Amano? Ernest Amano, correct?
Ah, so you do remember me. I know it's rather sudden, but I can't ask this of anyone else. There's been an incident, Miles. My son, he's been kidnapped.
Yeah, you may be wondering why I'm giving Ernest Amano like this deep southern drawl, but for those of you who have played the game, and for those of you who are going to see the next episode, sorry. I was going to say basically, for those of you who basically have played the game before, you know why I would, you probably have an idea of why I would give this voice to Ernest Amano, but for those of you who don't worry, we'll be seeing that in the next episode anyways. As you can see, we get Francisca looking all smug for Turnabout Airlines. Like, she's so proud to be in this case, even though it's literally one of those forgettable cases where you even forget the name half the time. And next episode, we're going to be moving on to the Kidnap Turnabout. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer. You can come back for the next one. Sorry. What is wrong with me? Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer. You come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. And with that, I'll see you later. Bye.